Hey Calibrate Tools family, welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk to the best dressed construction worker I've ever seen. And probably you too. Stay tuned. Every time I see a city skyline, I think of all the individuals, the skilled tradesmen who had a hand in building it, from the builders and developers to the carpenters, electricians, plumbers, masons, steelworkers, welders, truckers. Each one had to hone their skills, getting up every day, driving many miles to the job site, putting in countless hours of their life to build the cities that you work, sleep, and play in. These unsung heroes that are relegated to blue-collar status don't always get the recognition they deserve. But what would you do without them? I recently met one of these heroes, Cornelius Bryant, one of the best dressed blue-collar guys I ever met, and got to hear his inspiring story.
Hi, my name is Cornelius Bryant. I have a company called the Renaissance Man School of Life Skill, Leadership, and Etiquette. Before I did this, I was a construction worker for 37 years. I was a commercial carpenter. And I started back in the 80s, early 80, 81. And back then, we still had people left over from the 50s and 60s, the same mindset. So it was hard and difficult on me as a black man, especially a young black man, to really get into business. But I hung in there, and I was the first black superintendent in Riverside County. And so over those years, I've done many jobs, multi-million-dollar jobs. I think the highest one I ever did was a $200 or $300 million job. And so, I learned all the skills, the crafts. It's a challenge, but if you put your mind to it, you can do it. We need to have more young black men out here doing this because, hey, it's there for you. So all you got to do is go and get it. Yeah, like I said, I'm a carpenter. I was a carpenter. I did footings and all that. So I was a Class A carpenter. Then you have carpenters who do houses and framing and stuff like that. But then in the business, you have carpenters, plumbers, electricians, HAV guys. You have all these different trades involved. Then, like I said, I was a Class A carpenter, so I did the footings, all the structural steels, finish work, the cabinets and the flooring and all that stuff. But then you also have drywallers. The ones who do the drywall, the framers, they do the framing before the drywall. And then the painters, they come in and paint it. That's all the finished part of it. And so that's what's involved from the start of a building to the finish of a building. And all these things you have to do. And every trade has its own tools that he uses, his own plans, everything that they build according to. So that's your thing. You have to know how to read the plans. That's part of it. That way someone has to guide everybody else on what they're doing and what tools to use and what things to use and how to install all this. So it's critical that you use the right tools for the right job. If you use the wrong tools, your job's gonna be harder and it'll be more difficult for you to do it. And chances are, if you're working, you don't have the right tools, you're not gonna be working long. So that's why you need to invest in your tools, invest in your craft, study for it, and then that way you'll be able to be an expert craftsman. And that's what this is. It's not just a job, it's a craft that you learn, and this is a career. And that's what you want. You want a career, something you can do year after year, build on it, get your pension from it, retirement, your medical and all that stuff. So what you want to do, you don't want a job. A job, you can have different jobs every day. You want a career. That means you're investing your time and your effort in learning a skill for years. That way, when it's all said and done, you have what you need from it. Pay, pension, and a nice life. The thing of it is, if a man wants to start his own business, you need to have those skills, because the problem is, if you don't have those skills, if you get a job, you have your own company, you get a job, if you don't know what you're doing, you're not going to do the job right. If you don't do the job right, number one, you won't get paid. Number two, you'll likely end up in a lawsuit. And number three, no one will ever call you again. So you want to perfect your craft, whatever it is, you want to perfect your craft. I had a natural knack for it. Some people do that. Some people never go to school for stuff, but they learn how to do it. And they do it very well. So when I started off, of course, I didn't know the ins and outs about it, the details, but I was a hard worker. And within 2 years, I was already a lead man. Then in the third year, because I went through an apprenticeship program, it was a 4-year program. So before I finished the program, I was already a lead man. And then as soon as I finished the program, I became a foreman. Then from foreman, I became a superintendent. So I say out of my 37 years, 32 of them has a superintendent position. Okay, when I said four-year apprentice, what I mean is every trade has its own apprenticeship program. What that means is that you're on the job getting paid to learn your craft. They start from the beginning, and they take you all the way through to the end. So when you finish this program, you are what they call a journeyman. And then whatever it is, be it carpenter, plumber, electrician, you are a journeyman. I mean, as far as everyone's concerned, you have all the skills it takes to do all the different jobs. Of course, over time, you get more experience at doing things, and some people become what they call like you're a specialist in what you do. Like some guys with carpenter, I did concrete. So that was my specialty, concrete and footings, you know, the structural part of it. And other carpenters, they do cabinets and walls and stuff like that, framing. So you find out what it is you do best, and you become a specialist in it. And that's the thing about it. Over a period of time, you learn the craft, what you do best, and that's what you present to people, your best.
Being the best doesn't mean you know everything, but it does mean you're humble enough to know that you don't know everything. You're willing to learn, you show up on time, prepared and equipped for the job. When I first learned how to weld and do metal work, I volunteered at a welding school for a month before I actually started welding. I did everything from hauling scrap metal to the scrap yard, taking apart welding machines and cleaning them, to putting together curriculum for the students. Eventually, I had the opportunity to build out a full-scale 53-foot mobile welding trailer that I drove to different locations to teach people how to weld. Being a seasoned trucker before all of this definitely helped the mission. But my point is, these skills helped me serve the community in ways I hadn't before, and that was the most rewarding part.